Cool. Now we've got a few people here, and I've introduced my my new operator. I've just started recording, so for those of you watching on YouTube, meet my mascot for the day. So, right, let's do this. So we're ready to go. Let's go on our Twilio Quest. So I thought about what we could do today, and I was having a look at them, having a look at the missions, and I thought, last week we kind of did quite a few smaller missions. Hey Copper Beardy, this is exciting. So many people are showing up. This is awesome. I'm very flattered that you all want to come hang out with me on your Monday evening. So last week we covered some of the smaller exercises like CLI and JavaScript training lab and stuff last week. I was thinking what we'd do is, rather than jump around doing lots of missions, we'll just keep it short and sweet today and do one mission, but it's quite a big mission. So the one we're going to do this evening is Twilio messaging, a walk in the park. So let's go for a walk in the park and feed our rubber ducks. Yes, Gerald, you are correct. Live coding is like mass rubber ducking, where the duck even might have some useful feedback. Sometimes I think this inanimate object has more useful feedback than I do. Ooh, SMS to the left or WhatsApp to the right. So I feel like we should start from the bottom and work up. And SMS is probably slightly simpler than WhatsApp. I don't know from a developer's perspective which is easier, but when you think about like levels of techiness and what your parents are likely to do, the first step they master after phone calls is sending a text, let alone WhatsApp. So let's go hang out down the SMS route. Someone's Amazon order ended up in a funny place. Yes, it did. So let's just close that box and let's go up here. So let's have a look at our first barrier. Okay, so we're going to send our first SMS using the Twilio API. Well, that's cool. So let's do this. Using your own tools or the code editor, send an SMS message using the Twilio API. When a new message is created via the API, it is assigned a unique identifier, a SID. This SID will be included in the data sent back from a successful API request. Oh, that's cool. So I'm guessing it'll be like a JSON response. Retrieve a message SID after a successful retrieve a message SID after a successful API request and enter it into the text field on the right. When you hit hack, we'll validate that this message SID exists in your Twilio account and you'll be victorious. Okay, show me how. Okay. At this point, we assume you've completed your basic training and have configured both your Twilio account and Twilio phone number through that process. Sure have. Now, the time has come to put all those things to use by sending a text message. Twilio provides a RESTful API which enables you to programmatically send SMS messages and do many other useful things. To pass this barrier, you'll need to use Twilio's API to send a text message and retrieve the unique ID for the message you sent. Okay? What information do I need to send an SMS? Okay, so we need to give it a body, a number to send it to. So the body is the actual text, the phone number we want to send it to, and then the number we want to send it from, which in our case will be our Twilio phone number. Okay, so we've got multiple ways of doing this. We can use curl. I have Insomnia, which a lot of people probably know Postman better, but it's like an HTTP request program, so we could use that. We could use other languages as Python. So let's see what the code editor gives us, the code editor offers us for this, because we can always repeat this exercise. If it's quick, we can always repeat it with other tools to see what it's like, but the code editor should do the job for now. So, okay, so this is using Node.js, so that's like vanilla JavaScript, server-side, yeah. Next, we can create an authenticated API client. So that's creating the client. So that's our account SID. So that's actually going to take the details. So this might already have the environment. Let's just have a look. Yeah, okay. So we're going to keep it pretty simple. So you know what? I'm actually going to not even make it as complicated as using the examples. We can just do it from curl. We might as well try curl. So let's just copy curl. So like we did last week, we're going to, last week it might have been in the video recorded, I can't remember, but we're just going to low code, paste this in, and then we can do some edits to it. So, ooh, that's fancy. So it's from a number I don't even know to a number I don't even know. Okay, but we can adjust that. So it wants my accounts. Let's have a look what it says. So the following curl command would, when configured with the necessary parameters instead of placeholders, send a message. Okay. What do we think, people? Should we do it in curl or should we pick something else? This is we're all operators together. We can make a group decision. Because I picked curl because it's different, but I'm open to suggestions. How would we like to do it today? We've got lots of options. We can even look at the code sample, so we can pick a language. There we go. Okay, let's do it in curl then. Copper Beardy says we should do it in curl. We should do it in curl. Okay. So first of all, here, this AC is based on what it's saying in here. Because this is saying, let's just zoom in a bit. Hang on. So this is talking about a post request, but the fact that it says account SID, to me, suggests that AC is going to be our account. We can do it from here, can't we? Here we go. So, okay, there we go. So, curl is accounts, etc, etc. Okay, so we've already got that bit, so let's just change this. So first of all, we want to get my account SID. So all I'm going to do is just pop onto the Twilio console in another window just to hide the secrets. Just gonna log in. Sorry everyone, I'm just doing this on the second monitor. Per Jim's very helpful suggestion. I need a haircut. But that's besides the point. Anyway, so I'm just grabbing my account SID quickly, which is here. So we replace this with the account SID, which if you go on the, I'll show you quickly. If you go on the dashboard for your Twilio, the Twilio console dashboard, it's just there on the page. And then the next bit is from. So the Twilio Quest instructions said that the 2 is who we're going to send the number to. So we'll send it to myself. So I'll fill that in. So that's going to be and then the from will be my Twilio number. So we'll delete that, and I should have it in my copy clip. Somewhere. It might be faster to just look it up, but there it is. Cool. So we've got our from, our to, and then we've got what we want to say. So what should we say? Well, we're off the planet. So hello. I don't know. Hello from the cloud. That'll do. And then it wants some information that I'll keep secret. So what I'll do is I'll just move this window over here, fill the details in, then run the command and just show you what the response is you get back. So let's just do that bit. So I'm just going to get my auth token. So get iTerm up, which is there. So paste that in quickly and see what it does. So if we just clear and then we can scroll back. There we go. Okay, so what do we get back? What is the response that we get back? Let's just make this bigger. So, hello, it's queued. Hey, I received the message. That's so cool. Okay. So, what did Twilio Quest ask us to do? It said, enter the message SID of a message sent from your account. I'm sure it said null in the response. Let's just see what the docs say. Okay, we didn't get a messaging service SID back, so that's interesting. Messaging service SID is null. Well, that's helpful. Just try that again. Okay, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I agree, Jim, we do. No, see, yeah, so that's the SID. That might be it. It's confusing me. You might be right, Andreas. The reason I'm confused is because... Oh, yes, you're correct. It said about the message SID, and there's a messaging service SID, and I was just looking at the wrong thing. So you're right. Thank you for that. I was looking at the wrong thing. This is why it's great doing things together, because you can spot things where I've gone wrong. Woohoo! So thanks to Andreas' help, we have 200 XP earned. Cool, so that's the first barrier. Next barrier. Use webhooks and Twiml to respond to an incoming SMS message. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Oh, I get 3 hearts. Yeah, I like health. When I was in my final year of uni, someone joined my year and was in a few of my classes, so I got chatting to him, and he actually introduced me to, sadly I don't have it anymore, but he's introduced me to I think it was a Ruby project or something that actually displayed your battery life on your MacBook as hearts. It was kind of cool. Okay, to clear this barrier, you'll need to send a reply message from a number in your Twilio account using Twiml, which contains the text Twilio Quest rules. Okay, let's copy that because that will no doubt come useful. Once you have done this, click the hack button on the right. Okay. So let's just show me how. So Twilio uses a callback mechanism called webhooks to tell your application that one of your numbers has received an incoming SMS message. Twilio will send an HTTP post or GET request to a URL you specify with either a post body or query parameters that contain information about the incoming text, like what number it came from and the contents of this message. Does this sound familiar? That's because you've been working with webhooks all along to handle incoming SMS messages. When you selected the Twiml bin or Twilio function under a message comes in, you were configuring Twilio to send a request to a specific URL under the hood. Cool. The first step to receiving an incoming SMS is to configure a URL that Twilio will request when one of your phone numbers receives an incoming text. Find your programmable numbers in the console and click one of them to configure it. Okay? Bring this over because I've hidden my auth token. So it says to go to phone numbers, which is 3 dots, phone numbers. Just wait for that to load. Apologies for this. I prioritise streaming good quality resolution because I'm streaming code, so it just makes my internet a little bit slow. Cool, so this is the number I've been using most. I do own a UK number which would work for this, but since Twilio Quest is configured to... See, click the wrong one. Let's go back to the American number. There we go. So, on the phone number configuration page, scroll down to the configuration messaging section, look for the label "A Message Comes In" next to 2 drop-down menus. Okay. Okay, so message comes in, it's set to webhook. Okay. Let's break down what you can do here by numbers. Cool, let's learn something. So select an option for handling incoming messages. That's number 1. So that's here. So for this exercise, we want webhooks, but there are many other ways of handling incoming SMS that we will explore another time. Okay, let's have a look. So by default, it's set to webhooks, Twiml function, studio, or proxy, but you've also got Twiml app or messaging service. Okay? It said we'll find out what they are another time, so I'm not even going to attempt to try and guess what they are. Okay, number 2, which is that message comes in box, which is already set to webhook. Again, select webhook, but as we've seen, there are other ways of handling the HTTP request Twilio sends your app, such as Twiml and functions. Yep. Here, configure the URL for your server-side application. This must be a public URL Twilio can send an HTTP request to. Not sure how to do this when your code is running on your laptop? Read on, we will help you out with this. So we've got a start project, but okay. And then number 4 is here. Configure an HTTP method Twilio will use when sending the request. It can be either GET or POST. GET request will receive data about the incoming message as query parameters. POST request will contain a URL encoded POST body. Okay. Now, let's look at how to write code that handles the incoming webhook request from Twilio. When someone texts your Twilio phone number, you have told Twilio to look for Twiml instructions at your webhook URL. Previously, we've been telling Twilio to look for those instructions at a URL where we've configured a Twilio bin or a function. This is where you can write your own web application to handle the request and generate the Twiml of your dreams. Okay, cool. You can handle these requests from Twilio using any programming language or framework that can accept HTTP requests and render XML in response. So, like all of them, your web application should do a few things. Oh wow, can anyone hear that rain that's just started? So, your web application should do a few things. 1, handle the incoming request and route it appropriately to a function. Return Twiml, either raw Twiml or using server-side helper library to generate it with function calls. If you choose to use the Quest ID, you'll be given example code that responds to Twiml in Node.js using the Express framework that looks something like this. So it's bringing in some modules it wants to use, sets the port, says to use, saying use Express. So it's creating a route, a post route at /SMS that takes the request and generates a response. Okay. And then it's starting to generate the Twiml. So it's always wrapped in the response, and then depending on what you want it to do, you then use different tags. So in this case, we're using message because we want it to text back. Then we create and run an HTTP server which can handle the incoming requests. Okay. Well, we used curl last time. We can use the code editor. There's no point confusing ourselves writing a whole new application when we've got this here. We can, if we've got to do it again, we can always do maybe C# with a ASP.NET Core application, but for now we'll just use the code editor. So when we get an incoming message, respond with Twilio Quest rules. Okay, so it's saying replace these commented out lines with lines that return Twilio Quest rules. So we know that we wanted it to start with response. Is it response? We can show the tutorial and just double check. Yep, so it's response, and then it's message in the middle. So it's response, let's close the tag, and then in the middle it's message and what we want to say. So we want to say Twilio Quest rules, and then we can end the message. So that should be right. Let's try it. So let's send a text. Ooh, what's going to happen? Nothing yet. What's going on? So let's check the tutorial. Okay. So let's just go back to the code editor. So it's running this URL. So let's just make sure it's right in here. Okay, let's save that. Let's try again. So the URL wasn't right, so let's try texting it again and see what happens. No, because I've put it like that. See? This is what live coding does to you. You make silly mistakes. So I wanted to make sure that it's at the /SMS endpoint. So if we just copy the whole thing, then we know it's right. So that's our... so if you've not seen earlier streams where I was doing earlier missions at this, I just want to quickly go through this. So ngrok is a really useful tool that was, I believe I was taught, was created by someone at Twilio that no longer works there, but was created when they worked at Twilio. And what it does is, for the lifetime of your application running, it will just give you an external URL that you can use. So it tunnels through to your local host and just gives you a temporary throwaway URL. So in this case, it's at this funny number.ngrok.io. So if we copy that and post that in here and save that, and then if we try actually texting it again, I don't want to text it too many times because it's costing me money texting an American number. But let's see what happens. Are we going to get any response? Not yet. Let's just go back to our dashboard and see if we can see what's going on. See what's happening at the logs. Okay, so we received one. Let's just see if we try hack, see if it works. Okay, so something's not right here. So, if we go back to the tutorial, so if we copy that and place this, because it could be something as simple as a typo. So, Twilio Quest. Yeah, so for those that can't see the chat, Copper Beardy's just made a very valid point, which is if you're outside the US, it is helpful to have international calls and text packages on your phone for Twilio Quest. You are correct. I agree. So let's just try running that again. So now we have a new URL, so let's just copy that. We're going to go back to our phone numbers and can we do it from here? Okay, schema validation warning. What's going on? This is what I was looking for, the bit that tells you what's going on. Misspelled verbs, incorrect case for verbs. Okay, so it could be something simple like that. So if I think I did the right thing by copying that stuff and then editing it, so hopefully now it'll be right. So if we just go back to our numbers, back to our American number, messaging, a webhook. So here. Oh, okay, it's automatically updating for me. That's helpful. I didn't realise Twilio Quest was doing that for me. Oh, that's a good question, Jim. Is it 2 angle brackets? Let's have a look. Ah, yes. You are correct. Well spotted. Thank you. Let's try that again. Oh. Session closed. Okay. Let's try again. Okay. So let's just double check if they updated the page again. Yes, it did. That's helpful. Okay, so let's try sending it a text. So what happens now? Still nothing. So something's not right. So let's go back to debugging. Okay, let's go back the way we did it before. Okay, that was 12 days ago, so that's not what's going on. So we received an incoming message. So why is that not responding? Ah, so there is. Thanks, Layla. Does ngrok need configuring with a port number? I don't think so. I would have thought that Twilio Quest would do it for you, but maybe I'm wrong. So we've got the response, we've wrapped it in message, we've written the text. Ah, okay. So those that can't read, Layla's just saying sometimes messages across international boundaries fail. Right. I need to reconfigure this for a local number, don't I? Well, this is going well, isn't it? The only reason I'm using an international number is because you as in Twilio, won't let me use MMS on a UK number. Fine. We will. I will change my Twilio number to my UK one. So the phone numbers, UK number. It's not going to work, is it? Because that's going to mess up this number SID. Why is it not working? See, part of me wants to switch to C# because it might work then, but I don't see why this isn't working. So send response message. Okay. Quote the server. That's some ngrok stuff. Okay. No, still no response. Well, this is annoying. Try the Trimble. Okay, let's try the Trimble then. Okay, so okay, let's try that. Ah, wrong one. Let's go back to phone numbers. So we're saying that it should go to a Twimble bin and it should go to TQ3. Okay, let's try that. See what happens. No response yet. What's going on? Okay, apparently I've not had any errors in the last 24 hours. What's going on? So it knows, it's acknowledging that it's getting messages. Why isn't it responding? I feel like the number's broken, which isn't very helpful. What if I text the UK number? I know it doesn't help Twilio Quest, but I'm just curious if it is international. Ah, okay, click into the message. Okay, let's do that. Actually, no, we want to do... So you learn new things every day. Yeah, no, there's nothing. Oh. That is the logs, so there's no errors. It just doesn't seem to want to work. Oh, 7, 4, 8, 7, 8, 5, 8, 3. Oh, okay. Now it's telling me something. What's it telling me? Okay, HTTP retrieval failure. Oh, did I never save the changes? That's possible. Got my Twilio alert email. Just go into the numbers a minute. to see what's going on with that UK number, and then I'll follow your advice, Layla. She comes in for a bin, 223. So let's try again. Okay, so I got a response to my UK number. Let's just get that out quickly. Okay, it's not coming. Never mind. Okay, I can't show you on the screen, but that's okay. All those messages are ancient. Are not even my number, so that's okay, never mind. So, it works with that number. So if we assign the other one to do the same, will that work now? Let's see. But interestingly, yeah, let's just have a look. So that sets it to respond TQ3. Okay. So let's try texting the other number again. See what that does. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, Layla, because the exact same Twiml bin worked just fine with a UK phone number. So let's just go into here. Okay, so we are going to have to quit out of this. How do we get our number set? Let's have a look. There it is. Okay. So now if we go back to this quest, run this, so we get the URL. So if we go back to here, and we can go back to configure. So when a message comes in, we want to do a webhook, and we want to do that, and it's going to be at the SMS endpoint. So let's save that and see what happens. Okay. Yay, it worked. So, unsurprisingly, the awesome Twilio employee knew the answer. So yeah, apparently it must be a carrier specific thing or mobile network, whatever term you want to use. It must be a thing. So in my case, yeah, there you go. I sent the word Cedric. So if we'd hack this now, it should work. Woo, we did it. Okay, so some of us can't cross network. So I've just spent, I dread to think how much on text messages to a number that was never going to respond to me. Woohoo! So we've now got 3 hearts. Woohoo! Let's give ourselves the 3 hearts. How does that go? Accessories. Yeah! Neat. So we've done that one. Let's go exploring. What's this way? Trees. Ooh, this leads to a chest. Let's do it. Oh, I get 2.5 hearts. Okay. Respond to an incoming SMS using the Twiml bin. Oh, that's easy. We just did that. So in theory, we can hack that and it should work, because if it's still doing like it did with the phone numbers, which is viewing the history, it will see that we responded with a Twiml bin. Okay, yeah, so you've replied to a text message once already. You might not have noticed, but you use an XML dialect called Twiml to tell Twilio what to do when it receives an incoming text. What is Twiml? Twiml stands for Twilio Markup Language, and you can think of it as a set of instructions for Twilio to do something on your behalf, such as respond to a text message or voice call. We have literally just been there, done that. Yes, yes, we have. I love a good pun. Under the hood, Twiml is XML, which is a type of markup language to encode extra information about some data. In this case, the data is the body of the message you want to send back to the person who's texted you. The extra information is instructions for Twilio. In the example below, look for the body of the message. Around it, you'll see a lot of information contained inside tags. The response tag tells Twilio that you are creating a set of Twiml instructions. Every time you respond with Twiml, you need to create a set of response tags with your messages nested inside. The message verb is the real star of the show here. It tells Twilio that you want to send a text message back to the person who texted you. Okay, yeah, so now it's just covering the XML declaration that's auto-generated anyway. That's a declaration that we're going to be following the rules of XML, including opening and closing tags in a case-sensitive way. We include this because Twiml is XML under the hood, okay? So it's telling us how to set up a Twiml bin, but as we've already said, been there, done that. So yeah, so it's all I'm looking for here is what it wants us to Oh, okay, it can say anything it wants. So we can just go back to saying, this is our British number, yeah. So we can say Twiml bin TQ3. So any of these, I think my first Twiml bin might have been what I created during the Twilio Tea Party. Okay, so save that. So now it's set to do a Twiml bin, so let's try again. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted Twilio Quest. There we go. Let's try again. There we go. Woohoo! Now I've got 2.5 hearts. How do 2.5 hearts look? Oh no, we've got 3 hearts. We've got 4 health. We're having a great time. Okay, so we've come up here. Let's get this chest. Okay, use a to attribute and templating in a Twiml bin to forward an incoming message to a different number. Okay. Use the mustache templates featuring of Twiml bins to make the body of your reply and messages more dynamic. Okay. Configure your Twilio number to use a Twiml bin to respond to an incoming message if it's not already, which it is. Using templates in your Twiml bin, the body of the message tag can be message from body. Combine this feature with the to attribute of the message tag. Set to be your own mobile number. Now any SMS sent to your Twilio number will be forwarded to your personal mobile number. Okay. Hey Gareth. Welcome to the Operators Club. We are currently on an SMS mission in the cloud. Okay. So we want to. So we've learned how to send text messages and we've learned how to respond to messages we receive. Now we're learning how to forward messages on that we receive to our Twilio number. So let's do it. Huh? That's awesome. So Layla was just saying that she uses this forwarding function to protect her own number so that she can just hand out Twilio phone numbers when she's doesn't want to give out a personal number. So she used it for selling a car. Ah, that would explain why Jeff Lawson, the Twilio CEO, stood on stage during the Signal keynote, day 2, and said, contact me on this number. It's probably a Twilio number. Interesting. Okay. When you set up your Twiml, you can use mustache templates. Okay. Okay, so this is the bit that's interesting. So we're saying we can put this from, said, and to using this mustache templates idea with these double curly braces. And it's saying, when Twilio looks at the Twiml instructions for how to respond to an incoming message, it will replace the from value with the from phone number and the body value with the body of the message you received. So we're going to create a new Twiml bin to forward an incoming message to your own cell phone number. We're English, it's a mobile number. Okay, so we're going to go back to here and we're going to say message comes in. Forwarding Twiml bin. No, it's like that, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to say that we want, first of all, we want a response. Then we can close that response. I always do open and close tags, otherwise I get confused. Tab in, we're going to do message. And then close message. This might not quite be right, but we're just going to go with it for now, and then we can adapt. Okay. So it's valid Twiml, that's a good start. Okay, yeah, so we can template it in the middle. That's awesome. So Copper Beardy is saying that since doing Twilio Quest, on Sunday he was whiteboarding a project idea using some of the Twilio services. That's cool. I was actually doing very similar. So, as a lot of you probably know, as well as being a Twilio fan, I'm also a Xamarin developer, hobbyist Xamarin developer, and I'm really excited by Conversations API. So I sat down on Friday evening of reading API docs and spinning up an application, which if we still got time at the end of this, after this mission, I'll show you. But I was just trying to put together an app to use Conversations, and it went wrong, but at least I had the right idea and I wasn't afraid to try. But we'll come on to that. But let's just stick to this for now. So, in the middle of it, it's saying we want to... Okay, so we want to give it a 2. So we want to say to my number. Okay. Oh, I have to do +44, don't we? Cool. And then in the middle, it says that we want to do that from said. So what that will do is that when you receive a message, it will automatically forward it to the number in the to box, and it will say that the number that texted you said this. So let's create that. Okay. So let's text my Twilio number. Ha! Hang on, that's not right. It didn't do what I expected it to do. It responded with Twilio Quest rules, so I need to... That's interesting, it should have worked. Let's just see. Nope. Why is it still responding with Twilio Quest rules to that number? So we've got the front, so that's the number. Yeah, that's the British number I'm texting. And we're saying that when you receive a message, do it to the bin. Save. Let's just have a look at my bins. So under Twiml bins, we can have a look. So forwarding Twiml bin. No, I deleted one, Copper Beardy, so if you look, I replaced it. I replaced those 2 values. So we're saying forward it to that. That said that. Okay, well, that should be right. There we go. Now it's working. It must just take a minute to catch up with itself. Well, that's cool. So now we can. We just. Okay, so I can show you the messages, but they're not showing up on iMessage. That's okay. You'll just have to trust me that it happened. Actually, I can probably show you that it happened. If we go... Ooh, zoomed in too much. What is going on? Oh, there we go. So if we just quickly go back to here, we can probably have a look what happened. There you go, so we've got an incoming. Yeah, there you go. Message received, message sent. Snazzy. So that auto forwarding worked, so that's cool. So yay! I got 100 XP. Nice. What's this? Okay, it's just a pot. What about the fountain? Nope. Okay, got another chest. Use the redirect Twiml tag to transfer control of a message to a different URL. Okay. One redirection. Oh dear, oh dear. I mean, good joke, but oh dear. You could have picked... It's like, I mean, I suppose One Direction's pretty famous, but even so, like, you could have... Come on, Twilio, come on. Use the Twiml redirect tag to pass control of a message response to a different URL. This is most often useful when you are generating Twiml dynamically from a web application and want to have Twilio redirect the webhook request to another route. To complete this objective, to configure your Twilio number with a handler that uses a redirect Twiml tag, you can use your own code, the code editor, a Twiml bin, or a function to do this. Once you have your number set up, the URL that returns Twiml containing the redirect tag, click the hack button. Okay, so we can just write some Twiml here. Okay. So messaging Twiml has one more trick up its sleeve, the redirect verb. To acquire the loot inside this chest, you'll pass control of a message response to a second webhook URL that will also return Twiml. When you use the redirect verb in your Twiml instructions, you're telling Twilio to make another HTTP callback to a different URL. This is not the same as forwarding the messages we saw with the messages verbs to attribute. Just like the message verb, the redirect verb lives inside a pair of response tags. Okay. You could use redirect to compartmentalize some of the logic in your message response and build more complex applications. For example, the first URL, the one you set in the console, might send back a message and then use a redirect verb to pass the response control to a different set of Twiml instructions. Oh, this is getting meta. It is important to note that instructions after redirects, including message, will be ignored because control passes to another webhook. Okay. The noun of the redirect verb is a URL for a different Twiml document. Twiml will make a request to this URL and expect Twiml in response. The URL can either be absolute, so an HTTP www dot, exactly, or it can be relative to the current URL, for example, / next instructions. The examples you saw above use raw Twiml with redirect verb tags. If you use one of Twilio's server-side helper libraries, you can call one of the built-in methods to generate the redirect verb tags for you. For example, in Node.js, sending a text to the hello world and passing response control looks like this. So we're using this helper library and we're saying that the body is hello world, and then we redirect the response to a demo Twilio URL. Okay, it's slightly different in Python, for example. Twilio is flexible. It just expects your webhook URL to return Twiml. How you generate it is up to you. When you practice with the redirect verb, you can create it whichever way makes sense to you, or even both. Okay. Try it out. You have many options for redirecting between different possible webhooks. Twiml bins, Twiml functions, and your own hosted code that you write in the Quest ID or another application. In fact, try chaining together more than one. If you use a Twiml bin, you can write raw Twiml and pass control to another Twiml bin or to a function or to your own hosted code with a redirect. Wire up some Twiml in the method of your choice, Twiml bin function web application that uses the redirect verb. If you use the Quest ID, a basic web application with one route has been created for you. Make sure to update the first route to include the redirect Twiml and then create a second route that returns a second message. Okay? After you create your redirect Twiml, configure your phone number to call your webhook URL when you receive an incoming SMS. When you've tested that it works, enter your Twilio phone number in the hack interface and hit hack. We'll check that your webhook URL returns redirect, and if so, the chest will open to reveal the loop within. Okay, so we did Twiml bins last time. Let's do the code editor. So it sets up the application. Okay, so we need to set this up here to not use it's here, so we're going to set up a redirect. So we're going to say that the message is hello world, and then underneath that we're going to do the redirect tag. So again, we're going to and then inside of that we're going to say, okay, so we can just do, let's just check that again. So tutorial, okay, response.redirect, okay, or we can just do it inside of the redirect. So let's try that. So we're going to say that it goes to redirect. Okay, we've already got a redirect route, so we've already said to it to redirect it, so let's try it. Okay, so it's saying to text our number. So let's see what happens. There we go. So I got a text back that said, "Hi there, I am Twiml from a redirect," which is exactly what that says here. Woohoo! So if we click hack, we should earn ourselves some XP. Woohoo! Okay, so that's that chest. Let's do this one now. We're learning lots today, jumping between different ways of doing things. Okay, so now we've got to set up a Twilio function. Oh, it's getting fancy. If Twilio functions are anything like Azure functions, they're fancy. Okay, Twilio functions allow you to write Node.js code that runs in Twilio's infrastructure. You can use functions to create a dynamic Twiml response for incoming messages. The walkthrough contains example code for an SMS-based Magic 8-ball. Deploy this code as a Twilio function and configure your Twilio number to handle incoming messages using this function. Once you have deployed your Magic 8-ball function and tested it out, click the hack button. Without a doubt, you will prevail in this challenge. Okay. So, using functions when Twiml bins just won't do. Let's take a look at Twilio runtime functions, hosted Node.js code that you can use to respond to incoming SMS messages. Twiml bins provide a great solution for static or lightly templated responses, but sometimes you need to do more. You might need to call an external API or write code that generates a random response. And just like Twiml bins, functions are hosted, so you don't have to worry about spinning up a server to host your code. Awesome sauce! In other words, when you need to write a bit of code for a response, a Twilio runtime function is a great hosted option. To pass through this barrier, you'll use Twilio functions to create an 8-ball that returns a magical answer to incoming SMS questions. Okay. To learn how Twilio functions work, we're going to start with a static response, much like a Twilio bin, and then build from there. Makes sense? When you create a Twilio function, you write Node.js code that can respond to webhook events, in this case an incoming SMS, just like we've seen using Twiml bins. Navigate to the function section of the Twilio console and hit the plus button to create a new function. Okay, so that'll be under here. It's under runtime functions. Okay, awesome. Oh yeah, SMS dog facts. I'm pretty sure that was part of the Twilio Quest tea party. That was an awesome day. Okay, so it said to use the Hello SMS template. In the pop-up menu, select the Hello SMS template to use the function template that already has some helpful Twiml functionality imported. Okay. Give your new function a friendly name, perhaps something like 8ball, and add a unique path URL. Okay. Let's create that. We're going to call it 8ball. Path can be 8ball. In the configuration section, you will see a little bit of Node.js code pre-populated in the editor already. We selected the Hello SMS template, so the Node.js code is set up to return a Hello World message to an incoming SMS. It's very quiet on stream. Is everyone still watching? Or has it died without me noticing? It says I've got 5 viewers, so I'll hope it's okay. So it's saying that we'll find some pre-populated node. We selected Hello SMS templates. The Node.js code is set up to return a Hello World message to an incoming SMS message. We're going to be writing the code from scratch for this walkthrough. So delete the inner 3 lines of the function, leaving only the outer shell. Okay. So zoom in here. So it's saying we want to delete these 3 lines so that we've just got the outer function declaration. Replace the lines you just deleted with this code that creates a Twiml variable and defines it with a string that contains a Twiml tags you're already familiar with. Fill in your favourite response to a yes/no question in between the message and message verbs. Okay. So we'll copy that, we'll put that in here, and then we're going to change it to say a 3-headed monkey. If anyone gets that reference, then we're friends for life. Okay, finally we need to tell our function to return this string as Twiml by creating a Twilio response and setting the Twiml we created as the body. Okay. Okay. What's with the... Oh yeah, that's that. So I'm guessing it goes after that. This is laid out very poorly. There we go. Okay, so this is just calling the callback function, so it's saying, hey, call yourself again, but this time... Ah, yes. Someone that understands the reference. I knew we were friends, Jim. Excellent taste. Exactly. People just get it. Love it. I'll have to wear it for one of the streams. I actually own a Guybrush Threepwood t-shirt. So, we'll copy that. And then we're gonna, so it says at the bottom, before the curly brace, so here. The null is what the request would be, but we don't care what the request is, so we just say null, and then response is obviously our new Twilio messaging response. Cool. So let's just save that. Okay, and now we need to change it to our 8ball function. We go back to phone numbers. See, I have a Guybrush Threepwood t-shirt, but I feel like I should get a t-shirt that says, I beat the Swordmaster. So messaging, rather than it being a webhook, it's now going to be a function, and it's going to be our 8-ball function. So if we save that. Okay, so let's text it. Let's see if I can have... Okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Nothing yet. Ah, okay. Debugger's warning me about something. What did I do wrong? Error on Twilio function response, okay. Okay. Yeah, I like that it technically has 666 in the URL, but okay. We're going wrong somewhere. Let's get a chat window again. Okay, right, so something's broken, so let's go back to the function. So we've got the twimls, that wrapped in a single quote. Response is a new response, set the body to that, and then call that. What's the matter with that? Ah, okay. Ah, do we need to do that? Silly me. Okay. I missed a step. See what happens now. Oh, still broken. I like that it flashes in red when something's broken. Okay, we've got the same again. Your function invocation resulted in... Okay, so it's still broken. Why? Twilio.meshing response is not a constructor. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Oh, nostalgia link incoming. Yeah. Okay, I'll next time I stream, rather than playing the Twilio Quest music when I say I'm starting soon, I'll play the Secret Monkey Island theme. Okay, but what's broken about this? Let's have a look. So we've got our twiml inside of inline message tags. I'm missing using? Not a using, you know what I mean. Requires, or whatever the node equivalent is. What's going on? See if we can rubber duck this together. What's the matter? Copper Bean, you've been through this before. What am I? Can you spot what I'm doing wrong? Oh, my eyes are getting tired. It's been a long day. So it doesn't like that bit, but I don't know why. Because I was just following the instructions. I thought. Replace the lines you just deleted with this code that creates a Twiml variable and defines it with a string that contains the Twiml tags. Okay. Nope, still broken. Okay, so let's see. So that. Just come outline out a minute. Let response equal new Twilio dot messaging response. Let's try that. Let's just text it. No, it's still broken. Ah, okay. I'm sure that's not what Twilio Quest says. Yeah. That's interesting. If this works, Copper Beardy, I'll feed it back because we can't be having instructions being wrong. If the instructions are wrong, there's no hope for any of us. Okay, let's try that. Clancy's here. Hey, friend. So, to those that don't know, our dear friend James Clancy, that everyone seems to call Clancy, so I will too, is one of the people behind Xamarin Forms that helped write it. So this is super exciting to have him here. At the moment, we are trying to debug why some instructions I was following to create a function for responding to a text message isn't working. It is, it's awesome. So I'm just going to text it again and see if this works. We're just doing a bit of group debugging at the moment. Nope, still broken. Okay, so it's still the same problem. Why? Response.setBody is not a function. Okay. Let's have a look. Let's go back to functions and see what's going on. So let's send a response dot okay, all it's finding is local variables. Okay. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so that's deploying. Let's do it. Okay, so text it again. Yay! I got an answer back. Thanks, Copperbeardy. I'll definitely report back that the code in the Twilio Quest instructions doesn't seem to work. Okay, let's see what this does now. Yeah, see, that's right. So I'll feed it back to them that the code in the Twilio Quest instructions doesn't match what you have to do. But see, this is why we do it. We learn things and we can feed it back to the people that can make it better for other people. Because I was lucky, I had all of you here to help me solve it, but not everyone does, so. Woohoo! Okay, we've done those chests. What else have we got? Look at these barriers. Set up a primary fallback for SMS just in case. Okay. Safety is cool, and so are backup plans for SMS application. If there's a problem with URL handling inbound SMS messages from Twilio, you can configure a fallback handler to ensure your users still receive a reply when texting into your number. Configure your Twilio number to have a fallback handler. You'll see an option to configure one under the text primary handler fails. A Twiml bin is a handy and reliable solution for a static fallback response. Once you've set up your fallback handler to your URL that returns message in Twiml, click the hat button and receive the reward. Okay. In order to unlock this chest, you'll need to set up a way to handle errors that could make your SMS application unavailable. If your application is down, it's a good idea to have backup SMS that gently lets people know their application is running into difficulties, but that you're working on it, of course. We'll walk through best practices, how to set up your callback, and then review how to use the message verb from a hosted Twiml bin. What is a fallback? As a developer, it's a best practice not only to anticipate, but also to prepare for errors. This is usually done through some sort of mechanism typically called a fallback. Most programming languages have some sort of keyword along the lines of try and catch. Logic being, try some code, if it doesn't work, catch the error and handle it for your user. You fall back to the error handling case. Twilio provides this functionality for you as a developer around incoming messages. Errors are inevitable, alas. Just like in real life, mistakes happen. Some of these mistakes, such as malformed Twiml, can take down your application. When Twiml reaches out to your application expecting some Twiml instructions, it won't know how to handle an error that has bubbled up from code. Why else might you want a backup plan? Maybe the network is slow and your server can't provide a response in a timely manner. You don't want to leave the person sending the message waiting indefinitely. Very true. Bye, Jim. Okay, I'm sold. How do I create a fallback? On the edit screen for your phone number, under the messaging section, you'll find a field called Primary Handler Fails. Underneath it, a message comes in handler that you set in a previous barrier. In the drop-down menu, select Twiml. Click the plus button that appears to create a new Twiml bin. Give it a friendly name, perhaps something like backup message bin. Add your Twiml instruction to send your backup message. Okay, it seems good enough. There's cake. Yeah! Conciliatory cake. Who doesn't want that? Okay, so we need to go back to our phone number. So our British phone number. And we're saying that primary handler failed. We want to do a Twiml bin. Okay, we're going to call it backup handler, and then we're going to replace all that. So all that's doing is what we've seen already, which is the response tags, and inside it we're saying message, which means it will respond with a text saying we're sorry, we're currently experiencing difficulties, please try again later, and a piece of cake. So let's click create. Now how do we make it fail? This is the question. Alright, if you want to verify that your backup handler are working, you should purposefully break the Twiml bin that handles an incoming message. This will cause Twiml to look at the Twiml bin that you set under primary handler fails. An easy way to invalidate your primary Twiml instructions is to make the on incoming responses Twiml's response tag all lowercase. Save that change temporarily and then send an SMS to your phone number. Okay, that makes sense. So, if a message comes in, we want to do Twiml bin. Let's just select. I don't know. We need to fix it first. So let's go back onto runtime as Twiml bins. So let's try TQ3. Twilio Quest rules, but it said to change this to lowercase because that's not valid. Okay. We know that's invalid, but we'll save it anyway. So we set to tweet TQ3, so let's just go back to our phone numbers. And we're saying that we want it to use TQ3 because we broke it. Primary handler fails, we want you to do backup handler, so let's save that. Try texting it. See what happens. Ooh, we've got an amber warning. Okay. Schema validation warning. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm not completely convinced because oh, okay, fair enough, that works. It's just a warning. Did I get a response though? No. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So we've done that bit, and now we need to do this barrier. Configure status callbacks to track message delivery, okay? For this objective, we'll ask you to set up status callbacks for inbound messages using the action attribute of the message tag. Using your own web app, the code editor, or maybe a pair of functions, you'll need to set up 2 routes handlers. Okay. Rather than reading this twice, I'm just going to go through the walkthrough. Let's just check the dashboard. Yeah, people still watching. That's good. So, when you send a message with Twilio, either as an outbound SMS or reply to an incoming SMS, you can also specify an action attribute on the Twiml message verb that points to a webhook URL. When your message status changes from sent to delivered, for example, Twilio will make a request to the status webhook URL that you set. The code running at that URL can take a variety of actions based on the request that Twilio sends whenever the message status changes. Okay? What are the message statuses? Some of the message status you may encounter are sent, so the nearest upstream carrier accepted the message, delivered, Twilio has received confirmation of message delivery from the upstream carrier and, where available, the destination handset, and then failed. The message could not be sent for one of a variety of reasons. Okay. We've seen how to set up a route in a web application to reply to an inbound SMS message at a Twilio phone number. Now we need to set up a second route. This one will handle incoming requests from Twilio when there is an update on the status of your reply message. The code that runs in the corresponding function can do whatever you like. To pass this barrier, you'll need to enter the message SID and the last status that you receive. Where can you find these? On the request that Twilio sends your application. Recall that Twilio sends your status callback URL a request every time that it is an update on the delivery status of your message. The request will contain Twilio's standard request parameters as well as some extra status related parameters. You can access them by looking at the request body. In Node.js that looks like request body message status and request body.messageSID. Okay. If I wanted to print that out, it might look something like this. So it's post to the status endpoint, the message SID is the request body message SID, and that's the request. Okay, that's fair enough. When you create a message with Twiml, you can use the action attribute to specify a webhook URL. An attribute sits inside the tags of the message verb and gives more information to Twilio about how to send the message on your behalf. Twilio will make a request to that URL as your message travels towards its destination. Note, you don't have to set the action attribute to the full URL if your application also contains a status callback route. Your message verb could look like this: message action / status. Okay? Your status callback URL should point to some code that cares about those status updates. Hint, for this example, that should be the route that you set up for status updates. Okay? In the Quest IDE, your own code or a Twiml bin, respond to an incoming message. This time, make sure to include the action attribute on the message verb that you use to reply. If you use the Quest IDE, the bare skeleton of the Express.js web application has been set up. You'll need to fill in the new route for the status callback URL, hint maybe something like /status. The messaging Twiml to respond to the incoming SMS with the action attribute, and then the body of the function that will be called when Twilio sends a request to your status callback URL to print out the message SID and message status. Okay? So we have our bare bones Express app here. Okay. So we've already got a /status. So what we'll say is action equals /status. So we've done that bit. So the new route, okay. So yeah, so we've got the action. The messaging to respond, okay. So edit the Twiml here to send a message in response, okay. Ooh. Done that. And now this is a /status endpoint. So this is your status callback handler URL. When you receive a status update, Twilio sends information here, okay? So we can delete those two, which will automatically send the SID and the status, and we can comment that out. So if we run that now, we should be able to send a text to it. Let's try that. There we go. So we've got the message SID. Goes in there. And then we want the last status you received delivered. Woo! Oh, I want a short message saver. Nice. So I think if we go this way, I assume we'll hit WhatsApp. Oh no, another chest. Send your first MMS, okay. So what we need to do is we need to change our variables again so we can use an American number because it doesn't support MMS on UK numbers. So we'll just go back to phone numbers and grab those details again. So put this in there. Delete the gaps. Change the SID. Cool. So we need to send an SMS, okay? Okay, so you can use the RESTful API to send an outbound MMS. Yeah, so it makes a note that's for US and Canadian. That's okay, we've got a US number. Okay, so we need to give it a media URL, a to, and a from. Okay, so we can go back to... So if we just take this bit here, we should be able to just apply that because we opened... Let's just go back to here. So if we just... There we go. So we pop that in there. That should send an image. So let's try it. So this is the same curl that we used earlier, but all we've done is we've added an additional bit that says send hello from the cloud, but also attach this image. Now, I've tried sending MMS for Twilio before and it told me that the image was too big. So that's why I've just copied this media URL, because at least I know the image will be the right size. So let's see what happens. There we go. I got a text message with a link. What is the picture? I'm hoping it's a Twilio logo or Cedric or something. Let's have a look. So, we've got a SID back. Nice. So if we go into Twilio Quest, we can now enter that SID. So, what we'll do is do that. There we go, that's what the picture was. Ha! That was cool. Good old Cartoon Network. But that's the picture that was sent to myself. So that's cool. Now you've seen it too. Hooray, we found your MMS. Yep, that is correct. And I got an arm blaster. Nice. Okay. So what's up here? Nothing. Okay, so I think we've done all the SMS. So that seemed like a good point to break. Next week we can pick up with this mission again, but then do the WhatsApp side of things. So woo! So I appreciate everyone for coming, and I know Jim and Layla had to go, and I'm sure some of you have dropped out, but I appreciate you sticking with me through all the different problems, and to all of you who helped me debug the problems I was having. I will upload a video of this shortly, and also drop feedback to the Twilio team about the fact that the Node.js code in the Twilio Quest instructions doesn't actually work. But yeah, thank you for coming everyone, and I will see you next time. Let's just turn it off. 3, 2, 1, bye!